What's up, guys? Welcome to Good Bad Wrestling, No Holds Barred. This is the show that digs up bad wrestling from the past and then buries it again. I am your host, John.
And I'm Jack Brinks.
You guys can find us everywhere where there's podcasts. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify. We're all over the goddamn place. We are also on YouTube. So if you're looking at our big stupid faces, hit that subscribe button down here. Make sure you don't miss any of the fun. You guys can find us on all the social medias. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're all over the place. So go give us a follow at GoodBadNHB on Twitter and wherever the hell else. You know how to do this thing. You're probably better at social media than I am. You can also get our fucking merch at our merch table at brainbustertees.com, and we got all kinds of shit over there. We got shirts and hats and fucking sweatshirts and stickers, but most importantly,
the fanny packs.
So
fanny pack madness.
Go get yourself a Good Bad Wrestling No Holds Barred fanny pack, or buy whatever you want. I don't care. That's the business. So we have kind of adopted a little bit of a more positive outlook recently, a little bit more of a
Hashtag New Year, New Me.
Yeah, a little yin to our yang. And we like to not only dig up bad wrestling from the past, which we will do.
Oh, we will.
Today we are going to talk about Steve Austin and Booker T's grocery store brawl from December 13th, 2001 Smackdown, which I don't think is even bad wrestling from the past. It's just fucking amazing.
Supermarket sweep.
Yeah, but
on steroids.
Yeah, but before we do that, we want to talk about some positive and recent.
It's kind of positive.
Well,
it's a positive spin on a really shitty situation.
This is the positive and recent segment of the show. It just so happens that this time around, this is our first opportunity to discuss the passing of John Huber, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, and what we want to talk about is obviously him and his life and his career, but also AEW and the tribute episode of Dynamite. By the time this drops, there will already have been another Dynamite that we have not seen because it hasn't happened in real time. But
guess what? We don't care. It's our show.
Yeah, this is our first opportunity to discuss that tribute show. And like you said, yes, tragedy caused this show, and I wish that it didn't have to happen. Yeah. But as far as tribute shows go, that was as good as a tribute show can be.
I don't think there's anything that's come remotely close.
No. And the gestures put forth by the individuals, the videos that people did and the things that they had to say were beautiful, and then the gestures by the company and by Tony Khan.
Tony Khan is one of the classiest people in wrestling.
Yeah, that
is not really associated with wrestling. Like he is obviously is the owner of AEW, but like
before that. Yeah,
one of the classiest people in the business.
And this will initiate him. He's now part of wrestling forever, even if AEW closes their doors tomorrow.
Yeah.
The way that they treated Brodie Lee's family, and especially his son, Brodie Jr., -1, which, by the way, -1's a fucking amazing name. I saw him on the dark before the news of Brodie's passing broke, which I now know they knew something was imminent. And so they had shown -1, and I don't think they mentioned who he was. They just said that's -1, and I was like, "That's fucking great."
Isn't that when they first had him beating the shit out of people with the kendo stick?
I think that's when it happened, and the videos came out later. But yeah. And then subsequently on last night for us here in real time, he came out and -1 came out and cut a promo on Marco's stunt, which was filmed the same day as the tribute show. You haven't seen it?
No.
So Marco Stunt comes out like he's gonna cut a promo, and before he can, Brodie's music hits, and -1 comes out alone. And he's not that much shorter than Marco Stunt.
Yeah.
And he tells him, one day me and you are gonna fight, and when we do, I'm gonna be so much taller than you. and Marco Stunt kind of steps to him, and then some referees and Matt Jackson and Cody and I think Tony Khan come out, and they do a pull apart like a fracas with Excalibur and Taz on commentary, really legitimately selling it. They gotta break these two up. We gotta pull these guys apart. And -1 is just going after him, and he actually accidentally kicks Matt Jackson in the nuts doing it. It is adorable and hilarious and awesome.
So for those of you who don't know, Tony Khan and AEW signed -1 to a legit. At first, I thought it was like a legitimate contract. So when he's old enough, he will be part of the roster.
Yeah.
And have a roster spot.
Which in reality is probably just financially taking care of the Huber family.
Yeah. Until he's old enough to
earn.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking cool. But we just can't put over Tony Khan and AEW enough. And you know, you and I have had, before there even ever was a podcast, when we would just sit around and complain about WWE to one another.
Yeah.
One of the things that would come up the most was, fuck, they just need to give Luke Harper the proper time.
Yep.
We had non-stop conversations about his unlimited potential and how good he was and how good of a worker. We had no idea the saint of a man that he was in real life, and it's so cool to see that come to light. But as far as his wrestling career goes, we have been fans and we have been pulling for him for years and years and years and years, and we're not alone. Obviously a lot of people feel this way, and I'm glad that he got to spend 8 months displaying that we were all right.
Yeah. So
and he was right that he had this in him. So
yeah, you see a lot of these, and people always come out and you know, they share stories, stuff like that, but it's almost odd in a way that he never got the recognition he deserved, and the amount of people that came out from every corner of the world, of the wrestling world, and had nothing but amazing stories to tell.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And that's the 99.5% is this beautiful, heartwarming stuff and these great stories. That 0.5% of people, and you guys have seen this on social media, who have done just absolutely disgusting and vile things, and I'm not gonna spread their names and give them any attention specifically, but you guys know the handful that I'm talking about. That shit has to stop. That shit just cannot exist in wrestling or just in our culture. That's just gotta fucking go. So I'm glad that the vast overwhelming majority is just beautiful stuff about this guy, and I feel like, you know, we're seeing murals pop up and stuff like that, so he's gonna have a legacy that I think will grow in his absence, a la Tupac, something like that.
I'm really interested to see we talked about it, what they're gonna do with that TNT title.
Yeah, so there's kind of conflicting information about that. Some people are saying that the title is going to just go away and that a different mid-card title is going to replace it. Some people are saying that specific belt is retired and a replica will be made for the TNT title. I'm curious to see.
I think it would do, personally, I think they keep the TNT title and just retire that version of the belt.
I think they just get a redesign and just continue to call it the TNT title. I think that would be cool. I think what would also be cool is if they legitimately end the lineage of that belt, which, you know, short but great run for the belt because everything it did was interesting. And then I think they're really, really set up right now to start doing trios. Like they're very set up for trios. So I would be cool if a trios title replaced it.
Yeah.
But that's just fantasy booking. Okay, so switching gears here. Now it's time to dig up that bad wrestling from the past and bury it again. Spoilers, it's neither bad nor are we going to bury it.
Nope. we are going to sell it like nobody's business.
So like I said at the top of the show, December 13th, 2001, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Booker T in the grocery store. So to give you guys a little bit of a setup here, this is after Austin's heel run, after the invasion, I don't remember the specifics of the storyline, but Booker T has essentially replaced Steve Austin's role at Vince McMahon's side in the corporation. And they're doing the old school, oh my God, the threat of Steve Austin. The Vince McMahon is terrified that Steve Austin could pop up at any moment and fuck up his life. So what's going on in this episode is that Booker T and Vince have a skybox on SmackDown, and it's the fucking rad mirror fist set, which is my favorite set ever.
I think that's the second version.
Yeah, I think that's after the rings.
Yeah, the rings were the first SmackDown, and then I think this was the second.
So Booker and Vince are in this skybox, and they get some food delivered, and it's basically Steve Austin's what promo is the food. It's whiskey and margaritas and Budweisers
and Sonic hamburgers and tater tots, which look delicious, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm starving.
Yeah, I am so fucking hungry. What's hilarious is that the guy's reading it off, and it's prompting the fans to say what, which at the time wasn't the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah, I think this was the beginning of the what.
And Vince and Booker decide the same thing you and I would have decided. Well, this is somebody else's order.
We're gonna eat this shit,
but I'm gonna fucking eat it.
It's here now. Your loss is my gains.
So they cut away, and then the next time you come back to Booker and Vince is visibly inebriated.
Yeah.
He's not playing drunk.
Yeah.
He's drunk on SmackDown. There was like candles or something. Something on the cart catches on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince puts it out with a Budweiser, which makes Jerry Lawler scream out, "Don't do that, it's flammable." Beer is not flammable.
It's alcohol abuse, but it's not flammable.
It's Budweiser. Come on. It is.
Hey, it's great for beer pong. It's the banquet beer. Wait, no.
No, it's not. It's the king of beers. And it is also my family crest, you son of a bitch. You will not... You will not besmirch the good name of Budweiser.
Of John Goodwin.
Budweiser heavy. So Vince puts out the fire, and then they're like eating some fries. They have a very romantic moment over these fries.
Were they fries or tater tots?
Whatever they were. No, there was fries there also. And
right.
And Vince was like, he got like sexy. He was like, there might have been a little fire, but these fries look pretty good, don't they, Booker?
Made me uncomfortable.
And Booker was like, yeah, they look pretty good. And then they had some nice romantic fries together. And then the fire department shows up, and they're like, we heard there was a fire. Vince cuts a drunken anti-fireman promo.
Nobody's anti-fireman.
He said, you guys are just like the cops. Never around when we need you, and always around when nobody wants you.
Hey, that's offensive.
First of all, no, they're not. There's never been one time in fucking history that anyone's like, get out of here, firemen. The firemen
don't just show up, because when you don't need them, they're at the firehouse playing video games and cooking. When you do need them, they're there. When you don't, they're looking pretty and they're washing their trucks.
Yeah, so they're definitely not out patrolling and just showing up. That's not a thing, Vince.
Nope.
Well, turns out one of the firemen was Steve Austin.
What?
I said one of the firemen was Steve Austin.
What?
All right, we're not going to do this. The crowd absolutely fucking explodes when he is revealed. However, it's not the same explosion as it would have been a year or two previous, because I do think his heel run, and it's widely considered, really took the steam out of the boom period that he had created. However, still the most popular character, still more popular than anybody before him, just not as popular as himself from a year or two beforehand.
I would argue that as much shit as we give Vince, he did wonders with Stone Cold and his different versions of the Stone Cold character, heel, face, the back and forth. There's not much that I have seen and remember with Stone Cold that hasn't been anything but awesome.
I think it's a combination of Steve Austin being an American treasure and a genius in this business and a fucking gem, and Vince being motivated to do something with him, and it all just melted together in the most perfect thing that wrestling ever did.
Yeah, because it's weird. There's other things that are like that Vince just goes, nah, we don't need that.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he just like everything just meshed.
Yeah. Well, it probably had a lot to do with himself being involved in it, but that's neither here nor there. So Steve Austin, the fireman, has to brawl Booker out of the skybox and chase him down while wearing full fireman attire, and he's visibly struggling to run in this gear. Like, Jerry Lawler has to make a comment on commentary, like, yeah, it looks like pretty tough to run in that stuff.
Yeah, Austin's known for a lot of things, and I think cardio is not always one of them. But hey, I'm not judging.
Yeah.
So they battle down the stairs, and the crowd is losing their minds.
A security guard gets just caught up right in front of them, and he looks like there's a fucking great white shark behind him, and he's got to like dive out of the way.
He legitimately dives to not get run over by these two monstrous human beings.
Yeah. So Booker gets in a limo. He pieces out. Austin happens to have his pickup truck there, which I love that they're like, oh, is that the Austin pickup truck? It was a different truck every single time, and they just slapped a skull on the side of it.
Yeah, sometimes the skull was on the hood.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was painted. Sometimes it was a sticker. Sometimes it was on the back. Not the Austin truck.
He's calling up Hearst when he lands in fucking Poughkeepsie, and he's like, you guys got a black pickup truck?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Booker ends up at a grocery store. And somehow Austin knows he's there. We didn't watch the full episode, so I couldn't tell you how he figured this out.
Booker T's just like sea walking through the aisle. And he finds a box of
like Pops,
and he's like, I just gotta check to make sure these are fresh. Well, they're closed. I'm pretty sure they're fresh.
They're doing the invisible camera thing, right? Where he doesn't know there's a camera on him. Yeah. But Vince and Ric Flair back at SmackDown are watching it on TV, as are we. So I'm not real sure, Booker, how you don't see this camera, man. But he's like, yeah, I gotta check and see they're fresh. And then he turns into me in my kitchen at 4:45 a.m. every day, where he's literally eating and dancing by himself because he doesn't think anybody's watching him. Breakfast.
And then you hear on the speaker, you hear, jackass aisle 2.
Yeah, no, can of whoop ass. Yeah, can of whoop ass aisle 2. And Booker has a full like 2 or 3 beats of like, wait a minute, and he looks upward, and then he's like, whoop ass, and then it occurs to him.
so all you see is Booker's looking down the aisle, and you see a white bald dude just walk by, right? And no part.
Booker hides like Splinter Cell style against the cereal. like can't let Austin see me.
So he like quietly sneaks, looks around, sees this dude, and he just attacks, just Pearl Harbors him, beats his ass. The guy rolls over, and he's got bleach blonde. He looks like a create a wrestler.
Yeah, he looks like the create a wrestler before you do anything with it. Yeah. Which, by the way, looks just like you. If that was you there shopping, you would have got your ass whooped too. And the dude has like, he doesn't have a bicked head. He has a buzzed head, and you can see he's got jet fucking black hair, and his goatee is like long, and it's that orangey kind of bleach color.
It's like real Slim Shady.
Yeah, they were like, get me a knockoff Steve Austin. Get me Cold Stone Steve Austin right now. And this dude bleached his beard 5 minutes before this.
And he's wearing sweats.
Yeah.
When have you seen Austin wearing sweats?
He's wearing sweats and Air Stepdads. and Booker fucks this dude up. And then so Booker's feeling pretty good about himself, and he stands up, and then the audience, because there's a camera there, sees.
No, there's not.
sees Steve Austin, and one of my favorite Steve Austin shirts, besides the 316, is the alcohol-fueled whoop-ass machine. That was one of my... Okay, side note. When I was in high school, I was such a wrestling fan and such a loser that...
Those two often are synonymous with each other.
my wardrobe, 100% of my wardrobe, I shit you not, was colored camouflage pants that I bought at the like Armani / like tuxedo store in the mall. You know the store I'm talking about? Yeah. Like purple ones, blue ones, red ones, whatever. All of my pants were these, and exclusively Stone Cold Steve Austin shirts that were color coordinated with the camouflage pants.
Who was your favorite rock rapper? Was it Fred Durst? Did you do it all for the nookie?
I did love Limp Bizkit at the time. I'll admit that, but...
Was Limp Bizkit and Method Man your favorite song ever?
But Kid Rock was my guy. But
Kid Rock and Budweiser. Oh,
God. Okay. Anyways...
So you got Booker standing there, and you see Stone Cold creeping up, and Booker T is feeling himself, and then you just get a...
Yeah, you hear the beer crack, the Steve Weiser crack, and the acting on like the thumbnail is on the TV right now, and even if you can't see it, you can picture it. You know the look that Booker gave when he heard that beer crack, because it's one of the most famous facial expressions in wrestling history.
And you're picturing exactly what you're thinking in your head.
Yeah,
is what he's doing. He's doing the
yeah. Oh, fuck. And they just proceed to have what has been revealed by Booker T recently to be a between $10,000 and $15,000 brawl in this grocery store. Which I believe after watching it.
There's so much, like, I don't care, whatever. It happened, I don't know, how many years ago was that?
20.
19 years ago. And it's just like a bucket of beans. He's dumping on him. He rips a whole thing of diapers open and opens one. He's all, baby want a burp? It does nothing with the diaper.
Knowing what we know about Steve Austin now and the 20 years since then, and the podcast and the interviews, and that he's kind of a goofball.
Yeah.
He's a really, really funny, like, he's more of a comedian than a hard ass, honestly, at least at this age.
Yeah.
So knowing what we know about him now, and then going back and being like, okay, this isn't a grocery store. This is opportunity for jokes and puns for Steve Austin. He goes, "Excuse me, sir, do you have any Grey Poupon?" and squirts the mustard all over me. He's like, "Yeah, you like mustard, Book?" He just keeps asking him, "Do you like insert whatever's in his hand?" And he's like dousing him in ketchup, and he goes, "I'm gonna bake me a cake," and covers him in flour, which makes Jerry Lawler go, "Nothing says lovin' like something from the oven."
He has his problematic past too, but Jerry Lawler is also a national treasure when it comes to commentary.
Yeah, and so they end up fighting back into the back fridge. This is one of the parts that popped me the hardest, and it was completely improvised. So Austin's throwing eggs at Booker T, and they fight off to the right. They fight way off to the right. But Austin spots 50 fucking feet away. He spots some saltine crackers.
A whole pallet of saltine crackers.
He goes, "Oh, you want some crackers, Book?" And he starts marching over there. They're sealed. They're not even available for him, but he will not give up on the bit.
There's 30 different like pallets of items along the way
that he passes
that he could get, and he goes, "You want some crackers, Book?"
He unwraps them because he wants to hit him with these crackers because it just caught his fancy. And once he finally gets them unwrapped, pulled off the pallet, his next line is, "Oh yeah, have some crackers, Book. These are hard to come by." No, they're fucking not.
No.
Saltine crackers are the thing that you use as an example of easy to obtain. They just give them to you.
You can go to any gas station right now that doesn't sell food, and there's saltine crackers.
It's the thing that they just give to you. That fucking popped me. So right before he can hit him with the crackers, Book kicks him, throws him in the freezer.
And that's the only time Michael Cole says a damn thing. He goes, and what a kick from Booker T. Yes. Where have you been?
Suddenly Michael Cole chimes in and I was like, what? I didn't even know Michael Cole was a thing.
So what I loved up to this point, they would cut back to the arena and Flair is just soaking it in. And he is loving every moment. And he's looking at Vince. He's like, look at your guy. And he's just eating it up.
I have a suspicion that Flair wasn't wised up to what any of this was gonna be because his laughs and his enjoyment are the same as ours. I think he did not know what he was about to see, and he is having a fucking. And if you knew Steve Austin at the time, then you knew he was a fucking goofball, and you knew he was the guy to do this. Yeah. Right. The viewer, we just knew him as a hard ass. Yeah. So like we didn't know he was funny as shit. So Booker locks him in the freezer, and there's the like Michael Myers moment of like, oh good, that's over. And then Booker walks out of the freezer and the camera perfectly frames the milk section behind him.
The freezer section, the fridge section.
Yeah, the fridge section. And Austin steps out of the milk, not with like a badass like returning from the grave vibe about him, with a whew, I needed that break, and then just starts chugging.
He's got a half gallon of milk.
He just chugging milk, and he appreciates that Booker gave him the break. He tells him, "Thank you, Book," and then hits him with the milk. He finally gets him on the cart. It's revealed his goal this entire time has been to get Booker to the checkout aisle and scan him. Like, I don't know how to win a grocery store fight, but in Austin's head it was to scan Booker. So he gets him in the cart and Booker is going, I don't want to do it anymore. And I was like, I think he legitimately doesn't want to do this anymore.
I think he's done.
He's like crying. And Austin gets him up to the check-in. The checker doesn't leave. The checker sells it as, oh, you're buying other wrestlers. Okay, let me see how much this one costs. Like,
our sale on Booker T was last week.
Yeah,
might be able to get you a deal still, but
do you have a coupon? It's actually like if it's a buy Booker T, you get Buff Bagwell for free. Like,
oh, that's a deal.
Yeah, that's screaming deal. So Austin hears police sirens. Not the first time on WWE television that he's evaded the police, because he also broke into Brian Pillman's house. He hears the police, so he does the wise thing and he pieces out. And as he's walking out the door, what was his like departing line? His like John Wayne leaving line was like something about calling Booker a jackass.
Oh yeah, he said so, or he said like price check on.
Oh yeah,
price check on a jackass.
Yeah, and then he's out the door. This was the thing that salvaged Austin after the failed heel run. And by failed, I mean he wasn't a heel. Like, we didn't hate him.
It's like trying to make Cena a heel.
Yeah.
They're just never, you're never going to get people to boo Austin.
Yeah. So, but this was the thing that brought him back to the beloved babyface in epic fashion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember watching this live, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and it's still awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, we got to do the formalities. Grocery store fight, good, bad, or just bad?
No, good, bad for sure. I mean, if those are only choices, I'm going good, bad, but no part of this is anything bad.
It's legitimately good.
Yeah.
And it will always be good. And we need to put over Booker T here a little bit more, because his facial expressions and his selling and his like whining and crying, it makes it
he
good.
Sells the whole thing.
Yeah, he makes
start to finish.
He makes it good.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Austin, the two of them together, like the way that they work, and they always had good chemistry too, but in this particular segment, Booker like I don't want to do it anymore. And being willing to do this.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of guys probably would. Maybe if they were working with Steve Austin, but in general, like, go to the grocery store and get fucking humiliated.
Booker T is up there.
My thoughts on Booker T's wrestling career are through the roof. I'm a huge Booker T's wrestling career fan. Booker T right now, as former wrestler who comments on what current people are doing, which is what we do also, I disagree with almost everything he has to say.
I haven't listened to any of it, but
I read about it and I hear about it, and I disagree with nearly all of his takes. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, this was fucking great. And this is what we need to find more of shit like this. So get at us on Twitter, Good Bad NHB. Get at us on Instagram, Facebook. Give us some suggestions. This is the shit that we're after. Things like this, the good, bad, fucking sweet spot.
Hit up the merch table.
Hit up the merch table.
Brainbuster tees.
That's right. Go get a fucking fanny pack and a gator. An actual alligator, which could kill you, but it's branded with our show, which makes it awesome.
Yeah, we got kids that got to go to college, so I mean, we don't have kids.
Less kids than there used to be because of the alligator,
but
it's
got to eat sometime.
So go to Brainbuster Tees is the point, and get some fucking merch from our merch table. And we will catch you guys next time.
Peace.